After several years of teaching high school English, I read in the paper one morning that a writer that I'd never heard of before, living in Victoria, had won the Governor General's Award, which was the highest award available to a writer in this country. And it was a picture of this very attractive young woman who happened to be married to the owner of a bookstore in Victoria. So I thought, it's only a 2-hour drive. I wonder if this woman would be willing to come and talk to my class, because I happened to have a class that year where a number of the people were interested in writers and writing themselves. One of them I now remember, I now know, became a published writer herself. So I wrote a little letter to this writer, congratulating her and asking her if she would even consider coming up to talk to a class. And I got a letter back from Alice Munro, later, many years later, a Nobel Prize winner, saying that this is the first time she'd ever been invited to a class. She would love to come, as long as she didn't have to make a speech and she could just answer questions. And I was so thrilled that I wrote back and said, I won't make you do anything that you don't want to do. So she arrived at the school, came into the class. She sat behind my desk. I think she put her sweater over her shoulders, and she sat there and answered questions for an hour and just charmed them to death without trying. She just answered questions. She made sure they understood how much hard work goes behind publishing even a first book, how many years she had been writing before she ever got a story published, and how pleased she was with the way things had turned out. We, of course, didn't know that at that point that she had a stellar career ahead of her, and it didn't matter at that point because she was a winner. The students loved her, and it was probably the first time that any of those students had ever met a living published writer. And it seemed so appropriate in an English classroom.